Hey, I'm Jason Harrell.
And I'm Justin Boyd.
And let's freaking do this.
Welcome to episode number 3 of Let's Freaking Do This. My name is Justin Boyd, and I am joined once again by my good friend and musician, Jason Harrell. Jason, how's it going today?
Howdy do. that's my new way to intro myself. Howdy do.
Is that your new trademark?
That's it. Howdy do. I don't think I could trademark that. Too many people said it, but
yeah, it works for me.
I don't know. Maybe I could beat those people up though, so maybe I could take it.
That's the way to go. Yeah. By brute force. Jason Harrell by brute force. That could be like one of your albums.
We could have a wrestling match.
We could have a wrestling. I think we're going to talk about wrestling here in a little bit.
And determine who gets to use howdy do as their.
There can be only one, you know.
Now we're bringing Highlander into it.
There we go. So Jason, we have a special guest this week, and you're pretty familiar with this guy. Would you like to introduce our guest for the week?
You know, it's funny. I am familiar with him. I've met him exactly one time though, actually, in real life. We have Zach Welch, 301 production recording artist. Zach Welch, country. Let's see, riot folk. What's the other? Cowpunk, singer-songwriter. Zach Welch from Forney, Texas. How you doing, Zach?
I'm doing great, man. That was a hell of an intro.
Yeah, I've been working on it.
That was good. Yeah,
trying to get better at my intros.
There you go. Check the list.
It's good to be here, boys.
Yeah, it's great to have you. We've Jason let me he sent me some of your music a while back. I've been listening to it, and he's like, "We got to get this guy on the show." And I said, "Okay, let's do it." And Jason made it happen. So,
well, yeah, Jason's a great guy. I'm glad he made it happen, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so Zach's one of the people. We'll probably talk about this a bunch on this show because a lot of the people we bring on here because of people from Twitter. Mm-hmm. I don't even remember exactly when I started seriously engaging in Twitter, but I like bailed on Facebook, whatever. Like at the end of, I think it was somewhere at the end of last year, and I started looking for another outlet to share my stupid thoughts. And as we were discussing earlier, like before we started, Twitter is a perfect place for that, to just shoot your like random thoughts out into the world. But I started engaging with people in there, and somehow or another, I don't know, I just ended up following a bunch of different random, it seemed at the time random, but it turned out it wasn't, because there's a lot of connection there. There's a lot of community.
Nothing's random, man.
Yeah. there's a lot of community there. But before I even started interacting with you, I'm sure it's because of Twitter. I saw stuff being posted about your songs, and so I mean, I'm the kind of person who's like a nerd about this stuff. And so when I see somebody's like, "Hey, I'm a singer-songwriter," or whatever, okay, I'm going to go listen to you. And most of the time it's like, "Oh yeah, you fucking suck." Mm-hmm. But as it turns out, Zach is a hell of a songwriter, and a pretty good singer. If I would, in my judgment, you've got definitely a delivery in your vocals that is sincere and hits home the point. But that was what pretty much sold it for me. And I think Enough and Religion, those songs, I think it was probably from Punchy Shirts and Broken Hearts, the one that you put out last year.
Yeah.
Is where I first picked up on you and your sound, your songs. But yeah, so you put that out last year, and I don't know where I'm going with this, Justin. You want to help me out? But
I think the thing is, like, the one thing I noticed about you, Zach, is you put out a lot of music in a short period of time. So you're a busy guy. So just tell us about what the last couple of years have been like for you.
Well, I'm really not as busy as I look. That's where the Twitter comes into play. You know, I stay relatively busy, but man, I had in 2020, you know, everybody went through a bunch of shit. But before the Ronas was happening, I had some shit going on, and I had these songs that I'd written, and I really wasn't taking the whole music thing very seriously. But I was playing a bunch of gigs, but I was playing the same 4 spots just over and over and over again. And I had these songs recorded. My buddy Ethan Whitaker, who's the mastermind, if you will, Suge White, as I like to call him, behind 301 Productions, and he was recording SoundCloud rappers in College Station, and I was writing songs in Forney, and we got together because we've known each other for years and we're buddies and all that, and we got to talking about recording my music, and so we started recording my music with a laptop and a Wii mic with the little USB port hooked into it, and he would hold it like right here, and I would sing and play guitar at the same time, and that was how we recorded for a while. And we put that on YouTube, and then we got him a cajon, which in my opinion is the worst instrument that has ever existed, but it is a fun excuse to bring Ethan with me if he doesn't have anything else to do. I'm like, yeah, bring your stupid little box, let's go play a show. And so we got him a cajon, we started playing shows. Well, then 2020 happened, all this shit was going down, and we couldn't play shows anymore. And at this point in the game, we had kind of purchased a little bit better equipment, not necessarily great equipment, but we had actually bought an interface and an actual microphone, and, like guitar cables and all that good stuff. And so we actually set all that up and tried to record and do it. And then that ended up being 254 days. And we didn't promote it at all. We didn't say anything to anybody about it. I posted, what's the movie with the chick? And it's like 7 days, like you get a phone call and it's like 7 days or whatever. It's like it's a spooky ass movie, but I don't remember what it's called.
Ring? The Ring?
The Ring, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I posted a clip of The Ring just on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, and then 7 days later I put out an album. And that was, that was all the promo I did.
Okay, wait. I got to ask you. So at the time, did you have very much engagement on Twitter?
No.
So,
hardly any. Yeah, I had like 300 followers, but that was only because the 150 people that I knew in high school had to make a second Twitter account at some point. I had a bunch. I still got a bunch of them, like I'm up to like 1,000 followers now, but like 150 of them haven't tweeted since 2012.
So, I mean, you could say we kind of peaked in 2012 as a human race. So I can understand, like,
with the invention of Twitter, that was like the peak of, of human civilization.
I mean, I've been on there since 2009, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I had an account. I've had an account for years, but I never did anything with it because every time I would decide I'm going to get on there, I'm like, I would tweet something out and like crickets. I'm like, I don't even know how this works. I don't get it. So I just stop.
2009, I think I made my first Facebook account. I moved over from MySpace.
Yeah, man. Did you have music? Did you have music on MySpace, or were you doing it yet?
No, I wasn't doing music yet. I was.
Oh yeah, 2009.
You're probably like 15 or something, 14 or something.
Yeah, probably 13.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was born in 96. So yeah, 13. But yeah, I had the MySpace page for a little bit. That shit was awesome. They had like the top friends, like my favorite people. And man, it was stressful because you'd have all these cats that were like, why am I not your best friend on there? So after a while, it got so stressful, because I was a popular kid. Not really. I was fat and goofy, but the 4 friends that I had really wanted to be number one. And I felt terrible about it. And so instead, I just went and changed it to where it only showed my top 2 friends.
Oh, there you go.
And my top 2 friends on Facebook were Jesus Christ and Barack Obama. And I was like, can't get mad at me there. God and country. I got
God and country. Oh man. I forgot about the fact that you had those top friends.
Oh, it haunts me to this day.
See, I was doing music at the time, back in the MySpace days, and I had songs that I had recorded on my little 8-track, whatever the hell it's called. I had a mini disc recorder, and I had recorded songs. So I had a band at the time, but then I recorded my own like solo stuff that was more like country sounding stuff, and I put it on there. And since then, I've lost, like, the 8-track thing stopped working. I've still got like a case of mini discs, but there's no such thing as a mini disc player. I guarantee you don't know anybody who has a mini disc player. And
we could find one.
Yeah, well, if you find one, send them my way, because I got these discs, and I feel like there's got to be some songs on there. But I had posted them on MySpace, and MySpace, I guess, got sold to Justin Timberlake at some point.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I think at some point, I think, did Yahoo buy it or something, or like Fox bought it. It's some big company bought it, and then
I think Justin Timberlake at some point was a part of it, or it's one of those like pop singers bought it, and they went through some change where they, I don't know if it had anything to do with Justin Timberlake buying it, but they changed servers or whatever, and all those files got lost. So I can go back and find my my profile on there, but the songs won't play.
They're gone.
So I lost them all. That's my one MySpace story that I can tell, really.
Now, the one cool thing about MySpace was that for like bands, they had audio players where you had like your top 5 songs or whatever. I used to love that, to go listen to like my favorite bands, and you could, I mean, that was like the only thing about MySpace I really cared about, was that you could play music on there.
Yep.
Right.
It's kind of a cool place to find stuff.
And you could, I think, couldn't you set the songs as like your profile song or something?
Yeah, when they clicked on your profile, it'd start playing. That shit was awesome.
Yeah.
I wish they still had that.
Yeah. Some of these other platforms need to step up and like get some of that MySpace magic added to
I
their
want to say Facebook like made it or tried to make it where you could do that for a second.
I think so. I think at one point, I think you're right, because I seem to recall that that I tried to make a MySpace song. There's some connection at some point where you could like make a song from MySpace play on Facebook or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw something not too long ago that Facebook was going to start letting you have like a profile song, and I think they got bullied out of it because everybody was like, well, you are just MySpace then.
Yeah.
But I remember when everybody switched from MySpace to Facebook, Facebook had been around for a little bit, but at first it was like for college kids, and then they let other people in it, but then like the adults got it and
ruined it.
Yeah, they fucked it up. But then I remember like kids my age, middle schoolers and shit, being like, oh, MySpace is for kids. I'm going to Facebook. I'm grown and all this shit. And it was just ridiculous. And every time a new one pops up, everybody goes on and posts about going to the next one.
and now it's just for seniors. I'm just kidding.
It's fair. Seniors and me.
Yeah. Do you still use it? I mean, I seriously, I don't. The people who followed me as far as my music stuff goes, I mean, everything that I had built up was on Facebook. So for the longest time, if I had anything to say about my music, I had to put it on Facebook. I still do. I mean, I don't dislike the people on Facebook. I just got frustrated with a lot of other things. But
well, I've started trying to get back into posting stuff on Facebook, because I played in Denton in April, and not a whole lot of people showed up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling my buddy about it, and we were at this bar, and I was talking about it, and I knew a bunch of people around, and he was like, well, did you post it on Facebook? I didn't see it on Facebook. And then I was like, nah, man. Like,
there's too many places now. You got to go post everywhere.
Like, dude, get a Twitter, get with the times, Grandpa.
Well, you got to post everywhere now, because somebody who wants to see you is going to say, "Why?" Like Joshua Headley came through in Austin a while back, and I had no idea he was going to be here. And at some point I saw that he posted something on Twitter, like I don't remember. He said something about Austin. I'm like, "You're going to be in Austin?" He's like, "Yeah, I posted it I don't know, but I think I went on his website. He didn't have the show on his website, so I don't know. It's a lot of work trying to get that stuff out there and keep everybody updated and post everywhere that you need to post.
Yeah, you're trying to get all the new people, and then the people who you've known forever will be like, hey man, text me when you have a show. And it's like, I've had 30 people in the past month tell me to text them to remind them about my show coming up.
Do you do it?
No, hell no. I'm like, man, listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, I got a show coming up, and if you text me and ask what I'm doing on Friday, July 15th, I'll tell you that I'm playing at this bar at the Six Springs Tavern.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to sit there and type out 30 text messages to anybody, unless it's my mom. But she created me. What the fuck else am I supposed to do?
Right. Does your mom come to your shows? I know that you've said that she did, and
yeah, she comes to when she can, you know. And I got a 10-year-old sister, so it's like it's kind of hard for them to get out that often.
Right.
You know, it was tough when she was a really small baby, but I wasn't really gigging then, so like they never did anything, but neither did I. And then when she got to be a toddler and like, you know, wasn't wearing a diaper no more and all that good stuff, people were like, hell yeah, we can babysit, you know. And so they came to a lot of gigs. And then now she's 10, kind of bossy, so it's gotten hard to find babysitters again.
Yeah.
But she comes when she can. I don't know if she'll be there Friday though. Find out. Need to text her.
So
the one person who gets your texts about shows.
Yeah, the one.
Right. So speaking of Friday, you want to plug that show right now?
Yeah, sure. Friday at Six Springs Tavern in Richardson, Texas. The boys are back in town. It's going to be, damn, I don't have the poster pulled up. I know for a fact it's going to be me and my full band, which, in my humble opinion, might be one of the baddest fucking bands out there. Not me.
Sounds very humble, by the way.
Not me, but the dudes rolling with me are kick ass. That's kind of why I got them, because I was like, I can just get up there and yell, and y'all be here.
Who you got in your band? You got Colton?
Yeah, Colton Mathis is on guitar, Ethan Whitaker on the drums, and then Lawrence Sumler on bass. And Lawrence is fucking killer. I feel like we as a society do not appreciate a good bass player enough, because there are a lot of bass players that are just like dun, 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 dun. And that's fine and that's great and it'll get you through, but he'll put some funky shit on there. But I also got let's see here. Let me do a quick deal, because we have two shows coming up at Six Springs Tavern, and so I don't want to announce the wrong people at this one. But yeah, this one, it's going to be me and the boys, Howard and the Happy Boys in town. Colton Mathis is going to play some beforehand because he's also a phenomenal songwriter. And then Jacob Ryan Marshall and Peyton Matus. So, like, if they didn't ask me to come play, I'd have bought 2 tickets.
There you go. Yeah, you got to support the guys. Got to support the dudes.
Go ahead, Jason.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like that whole thing. It's funny because this whole Twitter sphere that I've sort of like piggybacked on and joined that you guys are in. Like I came and played with you in at Cheatham Street, and then a few weeks ago I went to Galveston and played with Jacob.
Oh hell yeah!
I don't know if you knew.
Cool, man.
I don't know if you knew about that. It was a cool gig. It was right there on the beach. It's like a beach house for some rich people.
Hell yeah. I love those gigs, man.
Yeah.
Should have name dropped me. Or were you Zach Welch shared it there?
Oh, but like I was leaving or I hadn't even left. We took a break in the set, and the guy who's running, I mean, I have no idea who these people are, so I don't know if they're watching, whatever. But he's like, "You're gonna come play fiddle at my wedding." And I'm like, okay.
Hell yeah.
Now I haven't got a text message or anything about that, but he's like telling me where I'm going to go play and who I'm going to go play with. I'm like, all right, well, you give me some money, I'll do it.
Right. Yeah. Money talks, man.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say. So you're located in the. Go ahead and say what you're gonna say. I'm sorry.
Oh man, I was just gonna say I've only played one wedding in my life, and I gotta be. It was a beautiful wedding. I knew the dude who got married. I knew the groom. I've known him since we were little kids. I was actually good friends with his older brother, and he was like, "Hey man, can you play my wedding?" And it was probably a month out, and I was like, "Yeah, sure, I can play your wedding, dude." And he was like, "All right, can you play this song for the first dance, this song for that dance?" And I was like, "Listen, brother, here's what I can do. I can play music, and I can also bring an iPhone, and I can play those songs through the speaker for those deals. But I am not learning all these songs, mostly because they were like really complicated. Because I looked them up. I was like, yeah, my fingers don't do that, homie. I could do a real dumbed down version in the key of G if you'd like me to, but I think that wouldn't really bring the tears to the eyes."
Yeah.
And then I retired from weddings.
I've never played a wedding either. I had a friend years ago who wanted me to come play his wedding. In fact, he and his fiance came to my house. It was almost like a little meeting or something where she was telling me what she wanted me to play. It was a similar situation. They wanted me to play like it's like Tracy, what's her name? Tracy Chapman, Fast Cars.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Fast Cars, or it was some Tracy Chapman songs. Okay, I can probably figure that out. But before the wedding actually happened, they eloped.
There you go.
They're still married. So it probably because I didn't play their wedding is why they're still married.
That's probably what it was.
Right? Yeah, they dodged a bullet on that one.
Yeah, I've played some funerals, but
I played a funeral in East Texas, and that was the craziest shit I've ever been a part of in my life. That was because they told me that they were going to have a memorial service for this guy who died. And he was an older guy. It wasn't like, he was in his late 80s and lived a very full life and was sick for a long time. So it really wasn't one of those really somber situations, but, go and pay respects. And I met this guy at the bar, and he asked me if I'd come play his dad's memorial, and his dad was still alive when he asked me. So I was like, this is crazy shit. And he was like, yeah, my dad's on his way out. But he doesn't want to have like a funeral. He wants to have like a celebration of life. And I've been to a couple celebrations of life in my time, and those are funerals. It is what it is. And in my opinion, they're sadder because we're all trying not to be sad, but it's a sad situation. And so I roll up expecting, bunch of people like dressed real nice. He sent me the address, and it was in the middle of a field, and I thought, okay, so maybe the post-funeral lunch dinner situation. And so I rolled out, and I had my black button-up shirt on. I'd ironed it, shit. Like I was really ready to go and play sad songs. And I get there, there's this big ass fire pit in the middle of this field with these like whole trees in it, and there's little kids on dirt bikes with no shirts or shoes on doing wheelies around the fire pit, and there's these big fat dudes over in the corner shooting machine guns into a pond. I go, there's no way I'm in the right place. And sure enough, the dude who I'd met at the bar ended up being a good friend, but he came up and was like, hey, man, thanks for coming. My dad would have loved this shit. And I got to hear about his dad and all this stuff. And, man, it was really cool, It made me kind of sad. I never even met the guy, but felt like I'd known him my whole life. He was like, man, my dad would have loved your shit, dude. Like, he's like, you sing good, but not pretty. And I was like, thanks, man. He asked me what kind of beer I wanted. He sent me a text the day before, and he said, hey man, like what kind of beer do you like? Because when he asked me how much I would charge to play at his funeral, I was like, that doesn't feel right. Even though I don't know you, I'd rather say no to playing the funeral than charge, kind of like if I ever put out a gospel album, I'll do it. I won't charge anything. I'll you to it and drop it on your phone. And So I told him, you ain't got to pay me nothing. He was like, well, let me at least get you like a case of beer. I was like, that's fine. So he sent me a text and said, what kind of beer do you like? I said, Budweiser. I said, all right, cool. I show up. There is a cooler, and not a little one, like a big ass industrial sized cooler full of Budweiser. There's probably 300 Budweisers in this thing on the stage. And they just put it right there. And then a case. Well, actually, the case wasn't there at first. He walked up to me. He goes, you like bourbon? I said, yeah. And then he just pulled a case straight from the liquor store and set it on the stage. And it had like 5-6 different kinds of bourbon in it.
There you go.
And we got shit-faced and we sang. And at the end of the night, we were all holding cups, making toast to this man that I had never met. I delivered a sermon. It was great. It was so much fun. I'm
going to ask you right now, would you do my funeral, please?
Absolutely. 100%.
I know some guys who will shoot machine guns into ponds. I think we can arrange that and bring you some whiskey.
That shit was awesome, dude. And like, I had never played in such an environment where there were guns being fired so close to me. I really haven't been in that many environments where there was guns being that close that it was a good thing.
Right.
Usually when gunshots are going off, 25 feet away from you, I usually try to hook ass the other way.
Yeah.
But I'm up there, middle of the song, and dude just dumps a whole clip out of an AK-47, and I stopped playing. I ducked and shit. I kind of started running. I popped the cable out of the guitar. And then the guy who had hired me to come play the funeral went up there and just started laying into this cat verbally. He didn't like smack the shit out of him or something. That'd have been crazy. But
I mean, he did have an AK-47 though, right? So
right. Well, yeah. I mean, which would have made it more crazy. But he ran over there and he was like, "What the hell are you doing?" And he was like, "Oh shit, my bad." The guy was deaf, so he didn't even notice me playing. He never even saw the stage. He came out from the other side of the place, and they had built this big stage, and he was just showing off his new gun to the guys around there. And nobody told him, "Hey, man, there's, I don't know what sign language is for there's a dude singing over there. Right. There's some poor yuppie who's not expecting this." But yeah, he just unloaded.
I'm just glad he wasn't blind. That would have been bad.
That'd have been real bad. They point him to the pond and then wander off. The recoil just kicks him in the shoulder, and then he just starts unloading at the stage.
See, now I think this might be the most risky joke we've made so far on this podcast.
It's only 6:30 though.
We got plenty of time.
A lot of time.
Making fun of deaf people and blind people. So there we go. Can't get any.
We're celebrating them.
Celebration.
We weren't making fun of them. Sometimes they just do fun shit.
Right.
We observe it.
Yeah. No. It's funny. So I think I've played my grandpa's funeral and a couple other funerals, and interesting dichotomy. Like people talking about celebration of life. So, first thing, my grandpa used to always say there's not much difference between a wedding and a funeral. Everybody's always standing around dressed up, looking kind of sad, and it's like the same thing. My grandma always loved that joke, but a wedding. I've never played a wedding, but from what I hear, anything attached with wedding on it pays like exponentially more.
Oh yeah.
But the few funerals that I've played, the most I ever got paid was $100.
Right.
So they're not exactly celebrations of life.
Yeah, like I mean, because like if somebody wanted me to play their wedding right now,
yeah,
it would at least knock out my rent. It has to, because this is the biggest day of your life. Hopefully, not for everybody. Right. But sometimes you get a couple biggest days of your life. But I'm rooting for you, so it's going to cost you. Especially because I only have one love song, and it's really not a wedding song. It's the single that I just put out. But yeah, if somebody wanted me to learn a bunch of love songs, it would definitely cost a whole lot because I know y'all are paying that fucking caterer thousands of dollars.
That's right.
I know it cost 10 grand just to sit in this room today. So yeah, you ain't skipping on me.
They're paying like 10 grand just to rent the place out or whatever.
But funerals have the opposite effect because somebody's dead and it's sad and it's probably one of the worst days of at least one person's life in there. And man, I know how much some fucking funerals cost. Y'all probably don't have a lot of money to pay me. So it's the same exact thing, just different results.
Yeah. So going back to like the recordings that you put out and when you started doing it, like the 254 days was like in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
When did you write your first song?
I don't remember because I have a whole book of songs that died a long time ago. They weren't very good. At one point I wanted to be a drummer, and I had a buddy who could play a couple of notes on a guitar, and we decided we were going to be a rock band. So we started writing songs, and we were in like 6th grade probably. And boy, did those songs suck. So I never really paid much attention to those after we wrote them, you know. And neither one of us could play our instruments, so like they really sucked. And so I probably wrote my first song in 6th grade, but the first one that I wrote and kept was Damn Good Time. And I wrote that in 2016, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's funny. I hear, some people I've heard, God, I can't think of who it was, but somebody was like, some people take the approach, like, you never give up on a song.
Right.
So like whatever shit you put on the paper, you just keep hashing it out, keep, banging away at it until you get it right.
Right.
And I've personally have tried to take that approach from time to time, but a lot of times I just got to give up because it's just
yeah. And if I had my old notebook full of shitty songs, and that notebook wasn't when I was in 6th grade. That was like 2015, 16, even into 17. Damn Good Time was in that notebook. But I liked it so much that I went ahead and put it on my phone too. And so when my notebook disappeared, it didn't die with it. But that was actually the second writing of Damn Good Time because the first one did suck, and I went back and figured it out because I liked the title Damn Good Time. I liked the idea of it. I was listening to a lot of like the outlaw country and yada yada yada, and I was like, well, sounds like a good beer drinking idea. And so I wrote this song, but I didn't have much life experience at the time because I was like 17. Not that at 25 I know the meaning of life, but like I didn't know dick at 17. And so when I rewrote it at like 19 or 20, and I had, kind of been around in some capacity, I'd been gigging for a couple of years. I'd been working in construction for a couple of years. I'd met a lot of people. I'd seen a lot of shit. And I was like, now I can actually be honest with this song and not just what I think somebody would say if they, were in this position.
Yeah.
And I actually wrote the now version of Damn Good Time, and I'd been awake for 3 days and up to no good for 72 hours. And I was going to work in between my debauchery, but for 72 hours minus the 3 days of work, I was just fucking acting crazy, and I couldn't sleep at the end of it. So I drove to this lumber mill that was across the street from my job and just sat there and I wrote that song. And I used the title Damn Good Time from that shitty song that I'd written about, how fun it is to be at the bar and being, running around getting into shit. Well, then I'd been running around getting into shit. So I kind of wrote the downside of it, but it's a damn good time, kind of little fake a smile, you know, mostly because I knew my mom was going to hear it eventually. 'Cause she was still coming to all my gigs at that point, and I didn't want her to put me in the fucking groupie sock vacation.
Yeah, that I can relate to that. Like taking what you so my method for writing songs generally is I'll come up with some like I don't know genius idea or something that I think is clever, some idea or
Right.
insight or whatever, and
A
I
big
email it.
eureka moment.
Yeah, and it's never like related to anything else that I've been writing about.
Mhm.
It's just like I have something in my mind and I email it to myself, and I'll just think like it might be just an idea or it might be like a phrase that I come up with a line that rhymes, you know, a rhyming scheme or something, and I'll just email that to myself. But I have patchworked, you know, together a lot of my songs based on that exact thing where I just take what I had written in the past and I may not even remember. Like I got one that I finished not too long ago. I don't even fucking remember what the hell I was thinking about it. And it's like a really sad song.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember why I put those words together like that.
Like, holy shit, I was going through it.
Yeah. Like fuck. And sometimes I don't know if you do this, like sometimes I'll come up with something and I'm thinking that's too clever. Like that there's no way somebody else didn't say that before.
Mm-hmm.
And I Google it. I gotta Google it. I do this all the time. I'll type in like a few words out of that phrase and I'll Google it and like add the words song lyrics just to see if I can find somebody who said something like that in a song. Like I remember one time I wrote a song in my early 20s. I wrote a song and I damn near straight up lifted a line from the Counting Crows and I didn't realize it at first.
Dude,
in fairness, it was a long December for you. So.
It was a long December, yeah.
It was a very long December.
Go ahead, Zach.
Yeah, my bad shit isn't even like now words will get me. I wrote a song and it's not recorded or released yet called Slobber and Drunk. It's really not even finished yet. But I wrote it.
I like that you said that as I was like crushing the rest of this beer.
I mean, you and me both, sister. But I wrote it, you know, because I don't know how much time y'all be spending at the bar these days, you know, but half of my career is being at the bar. And I try really hard to play a bar at least twice, you know, before they send me on down the road. And so I've played a lot of places a lot of times, and I always notice the regulars. And then I notice the one dude night and day, he's there. And you can tell by, you know, everything he does that like he's there. And they're not always dicks. Sometimes they're really good guys, but a lot of times there's at least one guy at the bar who is mad that there are other people at the bar that haven't been there every day for the past 10 years. And so I wrote that song about that guy to where, you know, he's kind of, but by the end of the night, he's friends with everybody and he's, you know, drinking, doing shots and acting a fool, bumming smokes out in the parking lot and that whole thing, you know. But when he first gets there and he hasn't had his cocktails, you know, he's like, fucking, why are all these damn kids here just trying to fucking have a drink after work? You know, knowing damn well that drink after work is going to last until closing time. But, you know, he's in there being mad. So I wrote that song and I thought it was clever when I wrote it. And I still think it's clever. But I did have a moment where I was like, somebody's already written this song. And I went and I Googled every little line in there. And I didn't find anything that matched up. So I was like, yeah, I'm killing it. It's like, holy shit, my first original idea. I'll be damned.
Yeah, I think I've squashed a ton of songs that I've started because of that very thing. And maybe not like it's the exact same line, but it's just like somebody wrote it.
But it's so close. Yeah, I have a bunch of those.
But you know what's funny is I think I don't mean to be a snob about this kind of thing, but I think
snob it up, dog.
I think we'd have more people that would do that, and we'd actually have a less diluted
right
song pool to choose from, you know, because I think there's a lot of people who just, I don't care if it's been written about 1,000 times, I'm gonna write the same thing,
Right.
and I'm gonna rhyme these generic words, and it's
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm gonna pay $2,000 and get this one song recorded, and it's gonna sound great.
Yeah. See, and my biggest issue isn't so much with words. I'm really bad at doing the same like music to it. Like enough. People may have noticed it sounds a wee bit like that little what's that guy's name? You may have heard of him, Tyler Childers' song, Lady May, one of his biggest fucking songs, one of the biggest acts on earth in country music. And I was sitting around one day and I had written these lyrics, because I write lyrics before I do the deal, because I always wanted to be a poet. But when I was a little kid, somebody told me that boys can't be poets unless they're French. And so I didn't. And so I got a guitar. And I write my little poems and I put music to it. And I'd written that little poem. And then I was like, I'm going to put a capo on 2. I'm going to play C and F and G. And we'll see where it goes from there. And I started playing it. And nobody said nothing. I started playing it at gigs. Nobody said nothing. I recorded it. Nobody said nothing. I put it out. That guy fucking ripped off Lady May. I was like, I went and listened to it because I've only listened to that song a handful of times. And I went and listened to Lady May, and I went, son of a bitch, I did kind of rip off Lady May. And I felt bad about it for about 35 seconds. And then I went and commented back on a TikTok that has now been deleted because I saw, fun fact about me, I like to Google, I type in my name on TikTok, see if anybody's putting my shit out there, because one time I had a huge bump and I couldn't figure out where it came from, and somebody put me on TikTok. But I went on this TikTok and I saw the comment, this fucking guy just ripped off Lady May. And so I went back and commented, maybe tell Tyler Childers to quit playing such basic chord progressions.
That's actually the perfect response, because it's all the same. Like,
yeah, there's only so many chords.
Right. And I mean, we're not reinventing the wheel here.
Yeah.
We didn't invent the guitar. We didn't invent chords. We didn't invent the Western ear for music. Like, this has all been done before. We're just saying that, honestly, in my opinion, the only thing that really sets somebody apart, I mean, there's a skill that's involved in like what you do, playing your instrument, singing your song, whatever, but it's what you actually have to say, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the words come in. Like, I think that's why the words are important. I mean, I approach it the same way that you do. Maybe that's why I like your music so much, is because it's about the stories you tell and the way that you tell it and the perspective that you tell it. So yeah, I'm under no delusion that I'm coming up with anything when I write songs that is like groundbreaking or some shit like that. Like, all that everything interesting has been done before.
Right, and that's why we keep doing it. And I bet there's thousands of songs that sound like thousands of other songs.
Yeah.
And
if it didn't sound like another song, like, let's be real, nobody would want to hear it.
yeah,
If it sounds totally unique, it's how many people are really listening to it's fucking, I don't know, this like experimental jazz stuff. Like,
right. Yeah.
Like, I mean, there is an audience. Jazz. There is an audience for that. I mean, I like it, but that's because I'm a weirdo.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you know, they're not really looking, like, just say what you want to say in the way that people are accustomed to hearing it, and that's that's what gets you your audience, you know.
Yeah. I personally, what I find strange, and this is a little off, but not entirely. So if you play a song that sounds like another song, people are going to get mad at you unless you're a rapper. Now, if you take the same beat of any rap song and you put a different flow, put a different this, put different words, put anything on there. People will fucking love it.
Yep.
But on the other side of that coin, if a musician puts out a cover song and they do it well, then people will love it.
Mm-hmm.
But if a rapper were to just straight up cover a song, they just went on there and just fucking just
tried to match it like flow for flow, like everything.
Say, I don't know, who are two big rappers now? Say,
I have no idea.
Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole get together and do California Love.
And they try to do Tupac.
People would lose their fucking shit. People would be so mad forever. They would be called hacks. They would be called rip-offs. They'd be called sellouts, and most of all, they would be called shitty rappers.
Yeah.
But when you do it in any other kind of music, you know, if you do it in country music especially, I feel like there's a shit ton of country covers in the world, probably maybe more than any other genre. But you know, whatever. I put out a fucking cover. I did September Doves by Lost Dog Street Band. I did it live. I didn't pay to go to the studio to do it, but I did send Benjamin Todd $12 via DistroKid to.
Did you really?
Yeah, hell yeah. I didn't. If just in case it blew up, you know, I didn't want to fuck around and get sued. I don't have that much money, man. I was like, what do I have to do?
Get sued. Yeah, you can't get sued for covering somebody else's song. As long as you've paid the mechanical royalties, you're good. And whoever you distribute it through, they're going to take care of that for you.
Yeah, but I've slid, you know, I did whatever it was supposed to do to where I could cover it. But I sent him a DM on Twitter, but he didn't respond. Because I was like, how fucking cool would it be if I could get permission to cover a song? Because, like, I don't feel like a lot of people do that, but it would be cool.
Yeah, definitely. Jason, your mic's off.
Yeah, I muted myself. I was trying to keep. I was looking something up. I wanted to make sure that I got it right because you did September Doves on that album that you did with Robert Herrera.
Yeah. The Live from Aggieland.
Yeah, that's that. I think that's the album that I was playing to when I posted on Twitter that I was gonna play with you. That it's gonna sound like this. But you know, the fact that I was gonna share is Weird Al Yankovic never releases a parody song unless he gets permission from the original artist.
Yeah, I read that. I don't remember who it was that told him no, but I saw some. Was it Prince?
Yeah, Prince told him no.
Prince told him no.
I think there were a couple who told him no.
There was just one real famous one that, like, even the guy who, the original artist of the song was like, no, I love Weird Al.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't parody this song.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was something, but... Yeah, but I read that and I was like, shout out to Weird Al. That's actually where I got the idea to ask permission to cover songs from. Weird Al.
See, little known fact, Zach Welch is influenced by Weird Al.
Dude, Weird Al might have been the first musician that I just like knew their name, not because of my parents.
Yeah, my brother was a huge Weird Al fan. He had all the tapes and of course, I'm old. We had tapes.
See, and I thought Weird Al was new because the first one that I had heard was the White and Nerdy in like 04, 05 or something like that. And man, I thought that like this new guy is really hilarious, you know. And me and all my buddies would get on YouTube, and then this is how stupid we were. We would get on YouTube. Watch an old music video from Weird Al where he's doing like Michael Jackson, or some shit.
Eat It,
and and Fat, and Black or White, all those. And we would sit there and be like, "Man, that's crazy! He actually went and got a camera from back in the day and shot this music video with it." We thought that his debut album came out in 05.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. How about Amish Paradise?
Amish Paradise is a banger. Amish Paradise is great. Then they had the oh man, I don't remember the Teen Spirit parody, but I don't remember what that one was called.
I can't remember either.
But I just know all the hi were like fart noises, and I just thought that was the funniest shit that's ever happened.
I remember he did that. He did a parody of. Justin, what's the name? What's the name of that song? Once there was this girl who
Crash Test Dummies.
Yeah, he did a Crash Test Dummies parody. Yeah, man, I think he must have got started in the late '80s, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the Michael Jackson stuff, like with Bad or with Fat or whatever, that was like in the late '80s, I think.
Yeah,
because that stuff was really popular in the mid '80s. So,
well, like I found out that Weird Al had been around since the '80s because of King of the Hill. Like this isn't old information for me. Like this is a year old, 2 years max. Because I went back and rewatched, King of the Hill was on, but I didn't watch that shit. I went back and watched it on Hulu like a person whenever everything shut down. And he was like, Weird Al died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound in 1987. And I was like, what the fuck? And it was just, but I was like, damn, how the hell did Hank Hill know who Weird Al was? Like this show came out in '99. Weird Al was born in '83.
It's a great impression by you, though. Good job
on the impression. Sounded really good.
I've met a bunch of them, so it's kind of.
That was a total Hank Hill moment there.
Sounds like you're like fascinated with like time travel. Like Back to the Future is not a documentary, by the way. It's a movie.
Oh, I wish it was though.
Hey, you know what I just realized? We're like 51 minutes into this.
Yeah.
And we have not heard a single Zach Welch song.
Oh shit! Here, I have a guitar nearby. I didn't have the sense to get it out of the case, so if y'all want to practice your stand-up while I do that, I'll mute myself.
It's really bad, but we can hear like the whole sounds of you getting the guitar out of your case.
Yeah.
It like set the environment.
It's
like
the process. We want the process of the musician.
Yeah.
We want to know.
Right on.
I mean, we've heard the door open like 1,000 times, so it's like you're actually in a convenience store right now. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah. Well, you see, what had happened is I don't have a good place to do this except for the porch. But as previously mentioned,
right,
it's hotter than shit out there.
We're all in Texas and it's warm.
Yeah. You melt if you go outside.
So I was like, well, I can sit up in the bedroom, where my old lady likes to be, because there's always people coming in and out of my fucking house, as y'all have seen. Or I could set up in the kitchen.
I just want to tell you, I've been sitting on that like convenience store joke for like half an hour now.
That's gold. That's really good.
It's like, are you in a 7-Eleven right now? Come on.
Yeah, no, it's just the ambience of my life, man. Y'all wanted me, you get chaos.
Perfect.
All right, so I'm gonna get my guitar out, and
sounds good.
Yeah. So, and I'm also gonna yank my headphones because that might make it sound more better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Appreciate that. Yeah. So Jason, you want to let people know what you've been doing lately? I know you've been posting some. You did an open mic last night, right?
I did an open mic. Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
I haven't done an open mic in I don't know. It's not been that long actually. The same place that I went last night. So when I went, went to the most recent open mic one that I went to because my neighbor and friend Perry Savard, he took me to this place in Manor called Whiskey Girl Saloon. Is about, I don't know. I think it feels like a year ago, but it might not have been quite that long. But we went there, and it's a really cool little place because it's like a small group of people who show up and do this open mic. It seems like at least half the guys who were there were the same people who were there when I went there like a year ago. But you get to do like 5 or 6 songs, and I had nothing else to do, and the wife and I were just hanging out with nothing to do, and so that's what we did, and it was fun. I did my songs, and everybody had a good time, and I had some drinks, and now we have Zach back.
Now we have Zach. We got some music from Zach Welch here.
What's up, fellas?
Hey.
Long time no see.
Also, Can I also mention that for anyone who's listening to this after the fact on whatever streaming platform, you're missing out on seeing Zach's slick back hair because he actually took a shower in preparation for the show. That's how important Let's Freaking Do This is. He actually cleaned himself up for this.
Yeah, because we're gonna freaking do this.
That's right.
If you're gonna freaking do this, you got to have your hair slicked back. That's the rules.
That's
That's
right.
the one I made up.
Works for us. So what would you like to play for us now?
Dude, I was gonna ask y'all what y'all wanted me to play. This is y'all's show. I'm just here. I got songs.
Religion.
Okay. That was easy.
Yep.
I'm actually gonna play with my fingers because with the pick, that guitar felt loud as hell. Well, I gave up sleep for liquor. I gave up food for cigarettes. And I gave up on my hopes and dreams to dwell on my regrets. It gets worse before it gets better. And I'm afraid of what's in store. 'Cause I'm at my brink and I don't think I can take this anymore. And my mama says that I should find religion. Church just never felt like home to me. It seems like every time I pray for God's assistance, I lose another reason to believe. I think I'm going crazy. Think I failed my mind break. If I ever sleep, I hope it'll be the last time that I wake. If I gotta keep on living, I refuse to live in fear. 'Cause I ain't sure I'm meant for, but I'm damn sure it ain't here. And my mama says that I should find religion, but the church just never felt like home to me. It seems like every time I pray for God's assistance, I lose another reason to believe. I'll fight through for my family. Guess I'll hang around for my friends. 'Cause I'd hate myself if they ever felt any pain I put them in. Can't be this bad forever. It won't always be this tough. 'Cause once you hit rock bottom, there's nothing to stop you. Nowhere to go with love. And my mom says that I should find religion, but the church just never felt like home to me. Seems like every time I pray for God's assistance, I lose another reason to believe.
That was great.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
I love that freaking song.
Thank you so much. This is a 1978 Guild guitar.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, my uncle left it for me when he passed away like 6 years ago, probably. He actually gave me my first guitar when I was like 11 or 12. I wanted to be a rocker because I got introduced to AC/DC.
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, I want a electric guitar. And he had a shop on his land, and you walked in there and it was like a fucking guitar center. He had so many guitars on the wall, pedal steels and drum sets and keyboards and everything. And he was like, well, go pick you a guitar off the wall. And I walked over to this cheap ass Stratocaster that he had made from a bunch of spare parts he had laying around. He goes, you sure you want that one? And I was like, yes, sir. And he was like, all right, well, I'll take it. It was right next to a Gibson Les Paul, by the way. I was like, yeah, no, I want this one. And he was like, all right, I'll take it. And I was like, how much you want for it? And he was like, just take it. And I was like, no, I want to buy it. He was like, well, how much money you got in your pocket? I was like, I got $25. He goes, yeah, it'll work. And so I bought my first guitar for $25.
And he made that one?
Yeah, he had put it together.
Oh, that's way better than the fucking Gibson Les Paul. Who cares?
Oh, yeah,
Who gives a shit about the Gibson Les
yeah.
Paul?
But yeah, he was just like, are you sure? Because like it was the first stack Stratocaster body with like some random ass neck and all that shit.
He just put it all together.
Are you 100% positive that's the one? He asked me probably 30 times. And I was like, yeah, that's the one I want. It's badass looking. And he was like, man, I got a SG that like Angus Young played right there. The AC/DC is what you're after. And I was like, nope, this one's the ticket. And later he was like, yeah, it probably cost me $13 to build that guitar.
Wow. But he made it.
And I was like, yeah, he made it. And he made $12 on it. So good for you.
Yeah, there you go.
Then he gave me a purple guitar strap with lightning bolts on it because I thought that looked badass.
Yeah.
But then
you still have the guitar?
Oh yeah, I still have the guitar. It's named Fank now because it was just kind of our little beat up guitar because it was kind of beat up when I got it, right. And so it was our kind of just mess around and play punk rock music on it. And one time, somebody got drunk and wanted to name the guitar Frank. And went to carve Frank into the guitar, but forgot the R. So now it's just Fank.
Somebody did that, huh?
Somebody. I don't know who.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I mean, in retrospect, that feels like the right choice, picking that guitar.
That was great.
I mean, he had his hands on it. He put that thing together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really like. I've gone through my phases of being like infatuated with certain types of guitars or whatever, and I'm still like, I still feel like acoustic guitars have kind of a mystique about them that you know, certain manufacturers and eras or whatever are important, but I'm less like inclined to care so much about an electric guitar and pop another pickup in there. It's gonna sound different.
See, and I'm really glad I went with that guitar just because it was cool. It's not like that he gave up his prized possession guitar just because he had said pick any guitar and I grabbed it. You know, he didn't give a shit about that damn guitar. It was just something he did on a Tuesday when he was bored. It meant the world to me. I thought I was a rock star. And then now to this day, me and my dumbass friends sit around and play music on it all the time.
Yeah.
Making up stupid little punk rock songs. And then, you know, whenever he passed away, his kids got the real important guitars, which you know, was
right.
And then I got this one. This is my important guitar. This one's my baby. This one doesn't go out in public anymore. I got a guitar so this guitar could stay safe.
Yeah.
Because it used to be my daily driver, and then some drunk fell on it, and shit went downhill really fast. And so after that, I was like, no, this guitar is never – it'll go to the house, it'll go to the studio, but it's not going to the bar under any circumstances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think
got the serial numbers and shit, all that.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever had a guild, actually. My grandpa bought and sold and traded instruments from the time I was very young until he passed away. But I'm sure he had some guilds. I think I recall. No, that was a Takamine. I'm thinking about a 12-string guitar that he had, but hadn't had too many guild guitars. But is that an American guitar?
Hell, I don't know. Never looked that far into it.
Yeah.
I know it's from '78 and it's got the serial number on it, and I could look it up if I wanted to. But
yeah. Well, there's a lot to be said about a guitar that's got some life in it. I mean, that's had some life, like that's had it's had some miles on it. But so I actually wanted to ask you this: the new album you got coming out. When does it get released?
July 29th.
Oh shit! Really quick.
And I guess this is the best place to 2 weeks from Friday.
2 weeks. Okay.
Yeah. I guess this would be the great place to announce it. We're having an album release party at Sweetwater Grill in Union Valley, Texas, on the east side of DFW. And that's going to be cool. I don't have a secured lineup yet. That's why I have to just announce it on here, and I don't have anything to post on the internet. But so far, it's going to be me and the band, Marcus Delgado. I believe Peyton Matus is going to be involved. And then my buddy Curtis Lee, who is the front man of a rock band called Killjoy. And we're probably going to have some other people roll up and play. But as of today, that's what we got going so far.
Awesome. I need to move up. I need to move up north, like, so I can get involved in this whole scene, you know?
Yeah, we have fun. We have great.
I'd be the old fart knocker sitting around like, yeah, play that one again. I like it.
Well, how old are you? Because Curtis is 58. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not that old.
Yeah,
I'm 42. So.
Oh yeah. See, you're far from being the old fart knocker.
I feel like an old fart knocker most days, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Curtis is in Killjoy, and Killjoy to me is a very badass rock band, and they've gotten older now. They all have kids and whatnot, and have had kids for a while. So they hit it really hard when they were younger. Right. And they all settled down, got married, had babies, and now all the babies are growing up. So they're just being old dudes in a band, killing it.
Yeah, because why not, right? That's my plan. I'll just keep doing this shit for as long
they're
as
like,
I can.
rock and roll is a young man's game. We already did that shit. We'll just the fans we made in the 80s, we'll just keep hanging out with them.
So is your new album, is it obviously we've got the Drunkin Ramblins, the first single off of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fucking kick-ass. Like well, is the album called Redo? Is that what it's called?
Redux, yeah.
Redux. Okay, Redux. Because I'm seeing it's like Hot Shots Part 2.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole bit, because we couldn't decide on an album cover or an album name.
Yeah.
And we kept going back and forth. And I had this idea for an album cover to have the band dressed up in suits and posing for like the Goodfellas cover.
Yeah.
But we couldn't figure out a name to match it. But I was so humored by the movie part of it that I wanted to stick with the movie deal. And Apocalypse Now has Apocalypse Now Redux.
Yeah.
And which it might be Redo, but I just called it Redux because it was funnier to me.
Fuck it, that's what it's called, Redux.
And so it's just Redux. And so
that's even better.
Yeah, we watched Apocalypse Now Redux a while back, and I was like, well, that's humorous. And so that's what we went with. There's Ethan Whitaker, or his arm at least. Yeah.
Hey. What's up, dude?
Fucking that's not my guitar.
No, that's not your guitar.
I was like, he's looking for the the monsters. He's
Yeah.
since you're in the 7-Eleven, he's looking.
Yeah. You point me to the Slurpees.
Slurpees, yeah. But what I was gonna ask you is this album. So clearly, the first one is like a fucking full on rock band thing. Is the whole like tenor of the album? Is it like in your face rock and roll, or is it? Because I know you told me privately, because we have text messages together.
Yes.
You told me that they're all songs that you've released before, but
yeah, it's gonna be pretty rock and roll for sure. Yeah, it's we trying to find a not rock and roll song on there, but no, it's gonna be heavy throughout.
Great.
So 6 tracks, an intro and an outro, just in case somebody wants to release it on 8-track. And yeah, it's gonna be heavy.
I think that was your advice to me, wasn't it?
Yeah. 6 songs, an intro and an outro. Fucking 8-track.
There you go.
All day.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the intros and outros. I've been listening to your stuff lately, and a lot of the albums have intro and outro tracks.
Mm-hmm.
But then also a lot of your songs have kind of outro endings to them. So what about that? I mean, because that's not. I mean, bands have done that throughout the years every once in a while, but that's not something I hear or see a lot lately. What kind of influenced you, or what do you like about that, or what is it about intros and outros that you like to put those out there?
So there's 2 answers to that. There's because I thought it was funny.
Yep.
That was kind of the main deal, you know.
Yeah.
But the other answer is because I didn't really, you know, when I put out 254 Days, I wasn't really expecting it to do anything, you know. But so I kind of put it out, and I figured it'd be the people that I'm friends with on Facebook that see me play at the same 4 bars over and over and over and over and over. And I thought it'd be them, and I thought it'd be my family and, you know, the folks from my hometown and that kind of deal. So I kind of wanted to, you know, thanks for everybody who supported me, and, you know, to everybody who didn't support me, kiss my ass. That kind of situation was my thinking on that. And then we did it for 254 days, and I liked it, and other people liked it, and that was what people commented. They were like, man, at the end of 254 days, where the last thing that's said on the album is support your local businesses and murder your local pedophiles. Everybody loved that shit. Thought it was awesome. I still need to get t-shirts made. And and so I was like, great, I have a bit. I didn't mean to, but I got a bit.
Right.
But it's a bit that I thoroughly enjoy and embrace full force, you know.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't mean to have the bit of, you know, support your local businesses and murder the pedophiles, and I didn't mean to have a bit of intros and outros, but, you know, there's so many people that I'll never get to meet in person. And like now I have on Enough, I have like 40 something thousand streams on Enough, which to a lot of people is a Tuesday, you know, fucking not to me. You know,
that's a lot of streams. That's a lot.
I remember when I looked at my Spotify and it said you have 20 monthly listeners on Spotify, and I went, holy shit, I am a fucking rock star. And I was so happy about it, you know. And you get caught up in that shit for some reason, you know. Like I got somebody put my shit on TikTok, like I was telling you earlier, where I got the big bump on the TikTok, and jumped up, and for a minute I had like 6,500 monthly listeners on Spotify, and I was like, am I about to quit my fucking day job? Like, is this it, you know? And then it went back down, and, you know, I made some new fans along the way, and that's always cool, you know. That I don't give a shit how many people listen to my song. I want to know how many people liked it.
Right.
You know, I want to know how many people felt something when I said my shit, and I know that no matter how many gigs I play or how many fucking cities I go to and do all this, that, and the other thing, and I'm not very good at promoting. So even if I go to every city in the world, it's not like I'm going to meet every son of a bitch there.
Right.
So the people listening to my albums and shit, I kind of want to give them a little something, a little intro, outro to get to know me as a person, whether it's me talking, you know, about why I wrote the album or whatever, or if it's, you know, me and my friends being dipshits and introducing Riot Folk to a new audience, because I did not come up with Riot Folk at all. That shit is older than me, but I'm a fan of it. And I like it, and nobody ever knows what the fuck I'm talking about when I say it. So I figured if I say it in this, and if I just kind of name drop Riot Folk, people will look into it and they'll go find Tom Frampton and Andrew Jackson Jihad and these bands that inspire my shit. But they're a little too obscure for some people, and that's fine. But God damn it, I love them. So I just want people to be able to get to know me, even if I never get to meet them in real life.
And it's funny because it's got that. It's exactly what it does. It's got that appeal of. I was joking when you were taking your guitar out of the case that like we want to hear the whole like experience of you opening the guitar case.
Yeah.
It's like some of my favorite songs on albums in the, you know, growing up or whatever is like the one at the end of the track where you hear the guy open up the case. Like it's like the last track, the hidden track or whatever, where you hear it's an acoustic one where somebody's opening up the case and then pulling out the guitar and then getting ready to go. Like that's one of my favorite things about that's one of my favorite experiences listening to music is hearing that kind of stuff. Like it's like fucking I don't know, it's like Springsteen's fucking Nebraska. This is the second time I've brought up Nebraska on this podcast, but like that's one of the pivotal moments in like Americana whatever is like that whole album was supposed to be just a demo. And when the producer, I don't even know who the fuck it was, but when the producer hears it, he's like, nope, this is the album. And it's like, that's a way that a lot of people connect to it. It's like hearing that real aspect of it. Like I've said it before on social media and stuff. It's like when you see fucking South Texas Tweak post a video from his phone of a song that he just wrote, that's a moment right there.
Yeah.
Like that's a badass moment because he might not do that song exactly the same way when he puts it on the recording, but that's when he was figuring out how the fuck it's supposed to go.
Right.
And
and then that's we're all sitting here a part of history, and it just hadn't happened yet. Like every time I play a gig, I try to, assuming that I stay sober enough and am paying enough attention to take a picture with every fucking musician that was at the gig and anybody else who wants to take a picture, you know, like I'll say cheese, but like I gotta be honest, when Uncle Bruce and Poncho rolled up to our gig, dog, I don't know who I have pictures with that night. I don't know if we got one
we didn't, I don't think. He took a picture, or somebody took a picture actually of the three of us on stage. I was looking for him because I was looking for a picture to use for the promo for this podcast. And there's a picture of the three of us on stage, and it's Bruce and who the hell was it? There's somebody else with him.
Yeah, Poncho, Cody Wine.
Poncho, yeah. Sorry, yeah, Cody, yeah. He was on. There's a picture of the two of them sitting there listening to us and on stage. It's a badass picture. Yeah, but that's the only one I think that we got together.
Yeah, because I'm glad we have that one. And next time we play a show together, and I'm going to try to get back down your way come fall. But
well, you know what?
Next time we play a show together, I need to get one at least like hugging your neck a little bit or something because that's my favorite shit. I have so many pictures from damn near every gig I've played, especially like if it's with somebody else. If I go play a show by myself, then leave the camera at home. Who gives a shit? But if I'm going to play with somebody else, like I want to take a picture with them because that's, I mean, I go and I think about shows that I've played with people and who I've played with that was really cool and who I've played with who was really talented. And maybe if I played with somebody and they're a dick, like I'll just go through all that. But absolute worst case scenario is one of these cats that I'm playing with becomes the next fucking George Strait or whatever. And I work construction until I'm 97 years old. I'll be able to take out my little phone, download it to the fucking cloud, and then be like, "Hey, this fucker opened for me back in 2000." And that's what it is. I could lie and say I started their whole career, and then they left me. And then my great grandchildren hate that generation's version of George Strait forever. And I just love that power. I love that idea. It really warms my heart to think about the fact that maybe one day I could make like 4 people just really hate somebody or really love them. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of yours. So you find a Saturday or something whenever you want to bring me down, and I'll come play with you. I don't care if I have to drive 3.5 hours, whatever the hell it is between here and there.
We might have a conversation once we get off the air then, because I'm gonna start booking some shit, and
hell yeah,
I would love to have some fiddle in there.
Let's do it. Hey, you want to do? Oh, go ahead, Justin.
I was just say, so you're located in Forney, correct? I'm saying that
correct?
Well,
I grew up in Forney. I'm located in Dallas now.
You're in Dallas now, okay. But Forney is in the DFW area, so you're very familiar with the area, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, how is that music scene like? I mean, are you, if you want to play, every weekend, are you able to find that or make that happen?
You can't. There's so many venues now. You can play every weekend if you really wanted to. You might not get paid at some places because there's so many venues, but there's also so many fucking musicians, and there's so many dudes with an acoustic guitar, and a lot of places want cover bands, and that's fine. And I've done 4-hour cover shows. And I'll still do them, but now they just cost a little bit more because I want to play my own songs for the most part. But there's plenty of venues, but it's hard to get into some of them. Some of them are really cool about it. Some of them want you to have, whatever. They want you to have a certain amount of a certain size following or a certain whatever, and they want to have heard of you from somebody else that's not them or the bartender that hit you up on Facebook or something like that, but some of them are just like, yeah, if you want to come play music, then come on. And a lot of places are like, if you want to come set up a tip jar and set up in the corner, get after it. But yeah, I mean, there's a shitload of venues. It's just depending on what you're trying to do.
I remember hearing probably podcast at some point where Hayes Carl was talking about that's basically the way he got started. Is whatever bar was near where he was living, he was like, I'll just come sit up in the corner and put a tip jar out.
Right.
And they're like, all right, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, really, unless you walk into a Chili's, I don't see anybody ever saying no to somebody being like, hey, is it cool if I come and set a tip jar down? Because it doesn't cost anybody anything. But
unless you're terrible.
Unless you suck. Yeah. Unless you're really bad. Then it does. But then they can just be like, hey, get out. And,
yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of venues. In Dallas proper, there's a couple of good venues, like Adair's, whatever they call it. I don't know if Mama Tried is still around in Deep Ellum. I know they have one in Irving now that's a good venue. But I mean, there's a couple really good spots that are in Dallas. But then once you get into like the suburbs or whatever, which I mean they're building high rises in the suburbs now. So I mean it's all just Dallas. There's just a couple cats who lived there before the high rises that are like, no, we're not Dallas yet. But
Yeah.
like Richardson's got Six Springs Tavern. I used to play at a place called damn, I can't remember what that place was called, but it was like 7 years ago when I first started playing. It's called like Side Kicks, Sideways. I don't know. It was a side something, but it was in Richardson. There's a Side Kicks south of Dallas, I believe, and there's a Sideways east of Dallas, but there was another side something in North Dallas, and I can't remember what it was called. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of good venues, and then when you get into the suburbs, there's a metric shit ton of venues. So it's not all pushed together these days.
Yeah, Justin and I were big fans of the DFW sort of rock scene, like in what was that, early 2000s?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's kind of like a resurgence of that. It's what is it? What's the name of the? I don't know. There's a company that's sort of like pressing up all these vinyls from these early 2000s rock bands from the north, like from the Dallas area.
DFW Fair Records.
No, it's like NTX or something like that. Records or I can't remember, but they're putting on these shows too. They're bringing back some of these groups who had their heyday back then, and they're putting on shows like 40% and The Vanished, which I've now mentioned.
Gotta get that in every episode.
At least 2 shows now. I've talked about The Vanished.
It's all 3 so far, bud. It's all 3.
Oh, all 3. Shit.
Yeah.
Damn it. All 3. All right. Well, we're gonna change the name of this show to The Vanished. But
Vanished
yeah,
fandom.
That's pretty much where we spend a lot of our time watching Bowling for Soup. So
oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Bowling for Soup is fucking badass. And are we allowed to promote that one show that I'm not sure if we're allowed to talk about on this?
No, we can say whatever we want to about it. Yeah, it's
okay. So when the
let's
fuck
talk about
are you
it.
playing fiddle for Jarrett?
It's October 22nd. It's funny because I told Justin the other day, like I have to keep going back and looking at my phone and making sure that I wasn't like punked by somebody.
Right.
It's like I have to check. Like it's the verified account. It's really
October 20. All right. So October 22nd. Here's the deal. It's at the fair, right?
Yeah, it's at the fair. It's on the Bud Light stage.
On the Bud Light stage. I saw the Ottoman Turks. Speaking of Dallas rock and roll, I saw the Ottoman Turks on the Bud Light stage last year at the fair, and I don't remember it, and I feel terrible because I played with Matt Moran, the namesake of your shirt, and Billy Law, who plays bass for the Ottoman Turks. And I was like,
there's the
this
connection.
guy looks so vaguely familiar. Like I know I've seen you before, and somebody, and then I was like, oh shit! Now I remember he's the bass player for the Ottoman Turks. And I was like, oh yeah, I saw them, and then I was trying to remember the concert, and I was like, I remember getting to the fair and demanding everybody go to the Bud Light stage to see the Ottoman Turks, and then I just woke up at the house.
Yeah, I listened to you tell this story on the off mic record podcast.
That was the day after when I went and recorded that podcast. I felt like shit. I had to apologize to Aaron afterwards. I was like, hey man, listen, I'm not usually this like sunken-eyed and depressed looking. Like I don't usually bring this bad energy into the room. I'm usually a pretty like good guy. But
that was a fast-paced conversation. It was an interesting conversation. But yeah, I heard you tell that story, and I'm like, because you told me about the Ottoman. I think you were the one that told me about the Ottoman Turks.
I try to spread the gospel whenever I get the chance.
Yeah, and I had to look them up, and you told me it's like, yeah, that's Joshua Ray Walker's rock band, and he still comes out there and plays these shows with the Ottoman Turks, like after like going and playing at the freaking Ryman. Like
he'll go,
like 2 nights in a row or something.
The European tour, and then go to Trees in Dallas and fucking open. And I'm like, that's badass. That's
Yeah.
what it's all about right there. It's like, yeah,
I love that,
don't give a
though,
shit
'cause-
what happens to like my tunes, you know, like I'm here for the
Yeah.
rock show. And
Yeah, I love that. He's like like his day job is
Yeah.
essentially country music, and then he's coming out and putting on these rock shows. Like, 'cause
yeah,
that's what he
he's
likes to
so
do.
fucking good at it too. Like, they're phenomenal, man. I love that band, and they're in Dallas. I'm in Dallas. I have a band now. We are capable of rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna start harassing people and see what I can do.
I gotta see this. I gotta see this full band version of Zach Welch, because I feel
Yeah,
like it
man.
like melts faces.
It's
right?
good times, and you are actually technically an official member of the folk band.
The full band that includes the fiddle.
Yeah, well, because I had the full band, which was, you know, me and Colton, Lawrence, Ethan,
Yeah.
you know, singing guitar, bass, drums. And then on the poster we made for the Cheatham Street deal, Ethan was making the poster, I believe, and I was watching him do it. I think it was Ethan. It might have been somebody else, but I was sitting there while they were doing it, and they hit a typo, and on the second L they hit a K because I was sitting there talking their ear off when they did it, and so it said folk band, like FULK. And I said, yeah, no, it's the folk band. And he's like, what the fuck does that mean? And I was like, it's like a full band, but it's for a folk set. And so we did the folk band. So actually, you are an official member
Of
you're,
the full,
you're
of,
one of,
of
you're
Zach
one of
Welch's
two.
folk band.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I call it Zach Welch's folk revival.
I'm proud to be a part of it.
I need my other band to hurry up and find a name, because I want to be Zach Welch and the Something and Somethings, and eventually I just want to be the Something and Somethings and just be a band, because I like bands. You know, I listen to old 97s and Drive By Truckers and Vandaliers and Ottoman Turks and
Yeah.
bands, and I listen to cats who are just, you know.
You know why it's so fucking? You know why you don't have a band right now? Why you're not the band? It's because it's fucking hard to get a group of people together who have the same mindset and can actually make it work and be responsible and show up on time for rehearsals and all that shit.
It
like
is.
That's like a unicorn.
Right.
It really is.
And what's the most aggravating shit on earth to me personally is that I found, because for the longest time that was the most aggravating thing on earth, is that I couldn't find three other assholes to all meet at the same time unless there was like a shitload of money involved. And I was like, fellas, I don't have a shitload of money, so this ain't gonna work out. You know, that's why I've played acoustic shows for 7 years. And I finally found three other people dumb enough to come and hang out with me in an attic with no air conditioning and practice once a week, and then go play gigs, hoping to God that somebody shows up so we can pay people. These motherfuckers don't care about a band name. It's aggravating. I was like, what do y'all want the band name to be? They're like, just whatever. What do you want it to be? And I was like, well, how about, I don't know, I had this thought a while back to be the Burdens, or Zach Welch and the Burdens, if I just have to be the fucking front man, because I'm really not that talented of a guitar player. So like, if I'm gonna do anything, I need to be like the main guy so people forgive me for not being that great at my instrument. And I was like, how about Zach Welch and the Burdens? They're like, I don't like that. And I was like, do you have any other ideas? They're like, no, we'll figure something out. That was 6 fucking months ago.
Well,
all right, so
I got an idea. After
here we
the
go.
story you told us earlier, I think it should be Zach Welch and the Celebration of Life Band.
I like it.
Not bad. It's a little long. It's a little bit long, like for
Well,
Twitter
we
and stuff,
have an unofficial band name,
okay. What's that?
and it's Howard and the Happy Boys.
That sounds good.
And
and then
the
you
only
break
reason-
into enough.
it's not
That's fine.
official yet because we don't have anybody named Howard in the deal. And I don't know where the hell Howard and the Happy Boys came about, but we were in the studio, we were recording the album, and it was at the end of the day. We were listening to the first mixes of songs, and we had went to Cheatham Street when we played together the night before. We had almost gotten arrested in Waco.
Yep.
We had slept for 90 minutes total round trip from, Saturday to the studio Sunday. We've been in the studio for 9 hours, and we were sitting in the little, the war room or whatever, where all the fucking controls and fancy shit. We were sitting in the spaceship, and for some reason I was like, you know what? Now is the time to come up with a band name. And if somebody doesn't give me a fucking band name, I'm going to lose my shit. I have not slept in 3 days. I'm not on drugs. This is bullshit. It's like, so what's the fucking band name, guys? And Colton Mathis, my guitar player, just looked at me and went, Howard and the Happy Boys.
Just right out of his ass.
We're fucking Howard and the Happy Boys now.
Yeah, the next step is you just Google it. And you're like, oh, no one has it. It's ours.
There you go.
Oh, I've already Googled it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought for sure it was out of a movie.
Yeah.
And no, it's just us.
Yeah.
There's a shitload of Howards and also a shitload of Happy Boys on the internet. Don't go clicking too many next pages.
I'm not going to go look up Happy Boys. No, I'm not going to do that.
But
doesn't sound like a good time.
No, I'm telling you. But yeah, I couldn't find any bands named Howard and the Happy Boys.
Well, that works, man. That sounds good.
Hey, we need to get you to do another song because we are just shooting the shit. I think we're going to have you come back because I think we could probably talk for another hour and a half and still not play another song because we'd just be talking.
Well, if we're going to freaking do this on a Tuesday, then I can pretty much freaking do this on any Tuesday.
There you go.
Y'all just let me know when y'all want me to come by.
We will do that. So what would you like to play for us?
Again, this is y'all's chicken. I'm just holding its feathers.
Well, how about this? Like you have a new single out, just came out like in the last week or so. Drunkin Ramblins of a Hopeless Romantic. You want to play that one?
I'd love to. Can I give you the backstory behind it? Because I rarely get to tell the whole story.
Yeah, we'd love to hear
Tell the whole story. I'm gonna mute my microphone so you can tell the story.
Well, I might have told the whole story in front of you before because I do tell it every once in a while, but sometimes I have to like speed it up. So when I was 17 years old, a friend of mine, 16 or 17, my buddy, his grandfather passed away, and his grandfather left him this house that he had been renting out to people. And so I'm not sure if you've ever been into a 17-year-old who had just inherited a house, been in their house, but it's hard to see, a lot of smoke in the air. And so we would go and hang out there. That was the party house. And one day, it was a Sunday afternoon. We were sitting around. We were picking guitars, singing old country songs, smoking doobies, drinking beer. And we called up the weed man to come and bring some more weed, and he got there and he saw us all picking guitars, and he was like, holy shit, y'all are playing guitar. I got my guitar in the truck. Y'all want to hear some shit? And for some reason, you can't tell the weed man no, at least not where I came from. So we were like, yeah, sure, dude, go get it. And he goes and he brings out this beautiful classical guitar. I don't remember what make and model it was, but I mean, it was a beautiful guitar, nylon strings, all that good stuff. And he starts playing this really pretty kind of situation, all this finger picking, and he starts singing in German. And I don't speak German, and I don't listen to German music for the most part, but I assume at 4.5 minutes, he was at the halfway point in this song when he started crying, and he stopped playing. And I was just looking at my other two buddies and was like, what the fuck is this? He's just tears. And he goes, guys, never write a song for a woman. And so what had happened was he had moved to Germany, probably on some like Peace Corps kind of situation, and he had fell in love with this German chick, and she dumped him, and it broke his heart into a billion pieces. So he moved back to Forney and started selling pot. And
the logical next move, yeah.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? And so he told me at 17 years old, 16, 17 or whatever, never write a song about a woman. And so I didn't for a very long time. And then after years of being around all sorts of people, getting married and divorced over the span of 254 days, I finally met a woman who deserved a song written about her. And I thought to myself for a second, and I said, what the fuck did that guy know? So this is the song that I wrote for a woman. This is Drunkin Ramblins of a Hopeless Romantic. If I was a rich man, I'd probably buy myself a wrestling ring. Get backflips off ladders, live out my biggest childhood dreams. And you would sit and stare as I hit my friends with chairs. And you wouldn't be disgusted by the scars on my forehead. And I know most of my ideas are pretty stupid. And everyone around me knows it's true. And if life's a race, then most of the time I'm losing. But I'm holding the gold every night, and I'm holding you. If I live long enough to know pretty soon I'm gonna die, and I'll probably score some heroin, get shooting up and try. And you will hold me close as I die from an overdose. And the Sex Pistols' great grandkids are playing the funeral. And I know most of my ideas are pretty stupid. And everyone around me knows it's true. And if life's a race, then most of the time I'm losing. But I'm holding the gold every night, and I'm holding you. And I know most of my ideas are pretty fucking stupid. Everyone around me knows it's true. Yeah, this life's a race, I'm pretty sure I'm losing. But I'm holding the gold every night, and I'm holding you. Damn, I should have picked up the pick for that one because I just fucked my finger up.
Well, it sounded great. It
That was
sounded
awesome.
fucking badass. I love that song.
Thank you so much. Honestly, between us girls, that is actually my favorite song that I've ever written. Like,
It's a good one.
yeah, because I mean, that's the only one that ever came from a happy place, you know?
Yeah.
I remember I wrote that song in the great freeze of 2021. And my girlfriend was living in Denton at the time. She was going to school in UNT. Still, she's about to finish school at UNT. She's doing her last semester right now.
You mean at Nut?
Yeah, at the Nut. The Northern University of Texas.
That's what we always call it. Nut.
Yeah, the Nut. So she was living in an apartment right over there, and we went to Forney for some reason to go and hang out at my parents' place, and the snow came in and we got frozen for like a week. And there was one day we'd been there, and it was pretty perfect how it worked out because my brother and his girlfriend and me and my girlfriend were all frozen in at my parents' house. And so we had free food and shit. We were all in business, but none of us were working because me and my brother were both in construction and the two girls were going to college. So we just had a week to dick around in the snow, and we spent a day pulling a sled behind my truck in the neighborhood, starting fires and drinking whiskey around them, you know, and it got to be about 2:00 in the morning, and everybody else had kind of petered out and fallen asleep. And I was sitting there and I was having my beverage, and I was just kind of sitting there playing guitar because the power was out. And I look over and there's this pretty girl sitting there snoring right there next to me while I'm sitting there playing my guitar, and she's all drunk. You know, drunk people snore loud as shit when they fall asleep. And, you know, and I was
she probably loves this story, right?
Oh, she loves it. Yeah, it's her favorite. She's actually like in the living room right now. So if I get hit in the head with something in the middle of it, you know what happened. But she's sitting there sawing logs, and I'm sitting on the couch drinking whiskey, holding my guitar, and I was like, man, fuck, I can't remember a day better than this one. And I'd been listening while I was dragging everybody on the sled behind my truck. I was listening to a song by a dude named AJJ. And the name of the song is Zombie by the Cranberries by Andrew Jackson Jihad. And it starts off and it goes, and I was like, I really liked that deal because it's like, if I had a cigarette for every time a perfect stranger asked me for a cigarette. And I'd listened to that song probably 15 times in the past 48 hours before that. And so I picked up my guitar and I was like, and then I wrote that song in about as long as it takes to sing it.
Wow.
Man, I was like,
I mean, the fucking wrestling ring line is like clincher.
What
there.
a great opener for it.
Yeah.
Well, that's all shit that I've said literally my entire life of being like a grown not like a grown man, but like, you know, when you're about 14 in that area, you know, you kind of start seeing the trajectory of where your interests and everything is going to be. And from, you know, high school, I guess that's what they call it, is when you're finding yourself, unless you go to college, but I didn't. So high school was my coming of age party. And I'd always, you know, I looked it up, and a wrestling ring, if you want to get a wrestling ring put in your backyard, it costs $5,000. Yep. And so throughout high school, I tried to save up $5,000 at multiple different points in my life to just have a wrestling ring put in the backyard. And
there's like a whole thing. Isn't there a whole thing of like backyard wrestling?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. And I never made it to 5,000. No matter how hard I tried, there was always something to do. And then when I turned 18, it got really difficult to get to $5,000 because then I was allowed to go to the casinos in Oklahoma. And it took me from about 18 to 21 to realize that maybe not every piece of money that you have that doesn't go to bills needs to go to the casinos. And I still want to build a wrestling ring, but now I also kind of figured out that I don't want it to be just right in the backyard, you know, because it'll rain. I don't want it to fuck up my ring. And so not only do I need the $5,000 for the wrestling ring, I also need money for a building to put it in, you know. And I don't need AC. You know, I've seen all the documentaries about Bret Hart's dad and the dungeon and shit. Right. That's what we call where we record most of our shit, is the dungeon.
So you slapping the sharpshooter on people down there? Or?
Oh, all day, every day. Yeah. No, I've put.
Hey, can you bring Ethan in here and do this? Put him in the sharpshooter right now.
Don't tempt me. He's in some sort of meeting. I don't know who the fuck's outside of this window, but somebody's out there talking to him right now. But
I feel like you. Do they still do the MTV Cribs? They don't do that shit, do they? I'm too old. But that would be your success story. Like, is that you're gonna have your own building with your wrestling ring in it, and all your friends are gonna be in there.
Yeah, my driveway would be. I'd be like, let's step into the garage real quick, and they'd like walk in there, and it'd be like a 2011 Chevy Silverado and a 1998 Toyota Corolla, and I'm like, these are the fucking whips. You know how we do it around here. And then we walk into in my little metal building with no windows or air conditioning. It's just a door. And I have like 1998 Starcade fucking ring in there.
I'm like, this is where the fucking magic happens.
You bring him out there and you fucking sweet chin music.
All day. Yeah. I have a buddy who is actually a professional wrestler. His name's Bam Bam Malone. He was Chase when I grew up with him, but I met him when we were in like 3rd grade, and he was really into wrestling, and I was also really into wrestling. And then, about 6th grade, 7th grade, everybody kind of grew out of it, and not me and Chase. And me and Chase would always discuss wrestling whenever we ran across each other. And he loves wrestling and 80s hair metal. And so me and him have an agreement whenever, because now he's going all over the country and hitting people with chairs and doing all that good shit. And, I'm gigging a lot. So our paths don't cross that often, but we do have a deal that whenever we both have like a Saturday during the day off and we're both in town, I'm going to teach him how to play the intro to a Motley Crue song. And he's going to teach me how to fall and not actually hurt myself. So it's going to be great.
Now, tuck your chin when you fall.
Mm-hmm.
Fall back, yeah.
I tried to get him to suplex me off of a roof for an album cover. And he wouldn't do it. And I was like, come on,
that was a
man.
good move by him. Yeah.
Yeah, good move for you too, I think.
I was like, what if we put a mattress down?
Yeah. You need to get this wrestling thing started. You can have Zach Welch's Rockin' Wrestling. That could be your promotion.
That's actually genius. That's actually really, because I'm not that smart. See, what I wanted to do, because I've had this idea before, if I ever just got that $5,000, that's a pesky son of a bitch to come across, I tell you. But I wanted to have ZCW, and it be Zach's Championship Wrestling.
There you go.
But my full name is Zachary Cole Welch. So I thought not only would it be Zach's Championship Wrestling, but my mom would be like, oh, he's using his full name.
The acronym, yeah.
And then the fucking CCW. And it should be tight.
Yeah.
Which I think I've seen every episode of ECW they ever filmed.
You know what, though? I bet there is a ZCW, though. There's a lot of wrestling promotions. Yeah.
There's so many. My buddy I was telling you about, he like a year or two ago, maybe 3, he had a very busy weekend, and he had wrestled in like 6 promotions in like a week. Yeah. And he never left DFW.
Does he have different names in each promotion? Like, is it?
I think a couple of them he does. Yeah, but his usual go-to is Bam Bam Malone. But he, the first time I saw, we skipped our senior homecoming dance, maybe even senior homecoming football game. I don't remember. I can't remember if it was Friday or Saturday, but we skipped whatever homecoming to go and watch my buddy Chase wrestle in the Christian Wrestling Federation. And we drove to Royce City, Texas. And Ethan was there. And my buddy Travis, who you met, who takes pictures and drinks too much. We all drove out to Royce City in my 2001 extended cab Chevy Silverado with 300,000 miles on it. Oh, it was a good time. And I played this guitar in the driver's seat while Travis held the steering wheel. And I just sang to the highway as we rolled to Royce City, Texas. And we got there, and it kind of made me feel bad. And I'm sure it happens at my shows, but it made me feel bad then. We walked in and we were like, we need 3 tickets. And the lady said, oh, who are y'all here to see? Like, which of the wrestlers is your homeboy? And I was like, damn, like maybe we're just wrestling fans. But then I was like, we are at the First Baptist Church of Royce City, Texas on a Saturday night. So like, you got to know somebody here. And so we were like, oh, Chase. And she was like, oh, he's the bad guy. He's one of Satan's spawns. Make sure you boo him. And
Satan's spawns.
Yeah.
Oh
Man,
So
they were
fucking-
living the gimmick there, weren't they?
Oh, it
Wow.
was so good. And we
Wow.
sat down and we started watching, and this guy named Jesus Freak came out, and he had his hair painted orange, and he was wearing orange trunks, and his partner, who had another biblical name that I can't remember right now, but they got on the ropes and did their deal, and then like the demons came out, the tag team, to fight them. Well, then Chase and his boys, the fucking devil spawns, they jumped into the ring and attacked Jesus Freak. And so me and Ethan and Travis, we were sitting there watching this, and the 7-year-olds and their mothers who were there to watch wrestling and whatnot were like, boo. We were like, kick his fucking ass, Chase. And so Jesus Freak kicks the shit out of our boy. And then he gets on the mic and scolds us for our heathenistic ways. And we died laughing. He was sitting there yelling at us. They were praying and shit. Like, if I die and I go up there and I have to explain myself for all the things, that's going to be on the list. So where while some dude was praying for me to not be such a fucking demon spawn, I was crying laughing so hard.
Oh my god! So this is going to be on your biopic that they put on, I don't know, Lifetime or whatever the fuck they put it on. I don't know.
Everything I do is for the biopic or the book.
We should have saved religion for that one. for this story.
Well, I think it's a perfect. Well, you're right. We've already played it. He's already played it. So, damn, man, that was a perfect transition too.
Here, we'll go back and edit this shit.
Right.
But
There you
put
go,
that
yeah.
song
We'll
after
change
that
it.
story. Do we want to do another? I want to hear another song. I was hoping to get another song out of you, but we probably should get another song and then try to wrap it up at some point, or we'll just be going for 4 hours.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I'm happy to come back anytime, fellas. Y'all just let
Hell
me know.
yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Let's see. I'll do family, and then I'll go, because that one was stuck in my head for some reason. When I wrote this song, I didn't write it about nothing, but sometimes life finds a way, Baby, I don't give a damn what your mama thinks about me. Your man, he can kiss my ass. Your brother was cool as hell till the night we went to jail. Could spit on a bouncer for calling him white trash. Your grandma says that all I am is trouble. Grandpa says that you're too good for me. And those things might be true. Tell me when's the last time you felt that on with your family. Now, honey, I guess your family tree's a cactus. They all seem like a bunch of pricks to me. They'll try to make you think I'm the devil 'cause smoke and drink. Honey, we both know that I'm what keeps you free. Your aunt says all I am is trouble. Uncle says that you're too good for me. And those things might be true. Tell me when's the last time you felt at home with your family. And those things might be true. Tell me when's the last time you felt at home with your family.
That was great. We really
Thank you
appreciate
so
that.
much.
So, Zach, how can people find you if they're looking for you on social media or online? They want to hear your music. How do they find you?
Twitter, Instagram, TikTok is Zach Welch Music. My Facebook is at Zach Welch Musician, because my at Zach Welch Music Facebook got hacked. and so I had to remake it. I'm on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Napster for
the 20 of us who use Tidal.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm on all that stuff. I'm not on Pandora, I don't think, that I know of, because somebody yelled at me because they couldn't find me on Pandora. But we'll get there, you know. My Venmo and Cash App are both Zach Welch 13. So do with that information what you're gonna do. But yeah, man, just wherever. If you Google me, you'll find me eventually. There's like a hockey player or a basketball player or something, like a college wrestler. This 13-year-old kid on TikTok, and then me, and the Zach Welches of Google. So
there's another Zach Welch who is a musician.
Well, son of a bitch.
Bring
him on the show. Tell him that I challenge him to a duel.
Challenge him to a wrestling match.
No, Texas death match. Come on, guys. It's right there. It's right there.
I know.
In the ZCW arena. Come on.
In the ZCW arena in front of the millions and millions.
And millions.
Of the Rock's fans, yeah. That's awesome.
If you smell what Zach Welch is cooking.
Well, Zach, how plug some of your upcoming shows for us.
Let's see. I got July 15th, this coming Friday. I will be at Six Springs Tavern with the full band, Colton Mathis, Jacob Ryan Marshall, and Peyton Matus. Gonna be a killer time. The week after that, the next Friday, I'm gonna be at Six Springs Tavern in Richardson again. This time I'm gonna be in the middle spot. We got Brett Patterson and Jacob Charles playing, then me and my band, and then Lucas Jagno and the motherfucking Road Show, all the way from Louisiana, coming out to hang out with the homies. They're gonna put on a killer show. Then July 24th, that Sunday, I'll be at Deep Ellum Brewery with Seth Jones, doing a little song swapping, beer drinking. And then July 29th, the granddaddy of them all, the album release with at least Marcus Delgado, Peyton Matus, and Curtis Lee, but probably about 15 other people. And yeah, and then whatever else happens after that happens. But so far, that's all I can think of, because holy shit, I'm more excited for these next three shows than I've been excited for most shows in my life, aside from Cheatham Street, because I got to meet Jason and see him live and in the flesh. And this, what was a Megadeth shirt when you were playing the fiddle?
Yeah, it was a Megadeth and Lamb of God. So my friend Russell and I went and saw them play. It was like this. Where the hell was it? Anyway, it was in Austin here. It was like a co-headlining thing where we saw. It's like Megadeth was the main headliner. Lamb of God was right before them, and it was fucking Hatebreed.
Yeah.
And oh my God, who else was it? It was Hatebreed. I wanted to say Trivium, but that's not right. Is it right? It might have been Trivium. Anyway, it was a great show, but.
I just remember you showed up to play fiddle and you were wearing that shirt, and somebody said something about it, and I just looked at it and I was like, that is hard as fuck.
I mean, most of the shirts that I like to wear generally are metal shirts. Like I went to see fucking Cattle Decapitation like a few months ago.
God damn, that I've never even heard of that before, and I'm about
they're like a vegan death metal band.
Holy shit. I'm about to dedicate my whole evening to that.
Oh yeah, look it up. It's like, oh yeah, I heard you talk about you were talking about so we can talk about death metal. You were talking about you were looking on YouTube or something, and you saw the fucking thing about Cannibal Corpse's singer George Corpse Grinder Fisher. That's 100% true. He does exactly that. Like, that dude is like depicted, at least on all the interviews and all the stories that they do about. He's like the fucking biggest sweetheart. Like he just like,
that's so fucking crazy.
He spends his time playing World of Warcraft and winning prizes for kids in those claw machines, and then his day job is singing about eating entrails from a virgin's stuff. I don't say that word.
Stuff.
I won't
That was
say,
a good edit. Yeah.
Yeah, I won't say that word, but anyway.
What were we gonna say there? Yeah.
Like the most nasty things you can sing about, but he's anyway.
So Zach, on that note, we really appreciate you joining us, and you got a busy July, and we're glad that you found some time for our show. We appreciate having you on. We'd love to have you on again.
Man, anytime, brother.
It was a blast having you on here. Jason, how can people find you on the
I don't know
webs here?
On this show on Tuesdays.
Tuesdays live on the internet.
Tuesdays live on our open mic at Whiskey Girl Saloon. It's freaking down the road from me. I'm on all the Spotify places and all the streaming music, and I generally just write and record music and play like 3 or 4 shows a year. And that's what I do.
Okay.
Not a bad day.
So in this podcast here, Let's Freaking Do This, you can find us. We're on Instagram and on Twitter. We're at LFDT Pod. Again, LFDT Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Also, if you're watching this now on YouTube or watching this later on YouTube, we very much appreciate it. If you could please hit the subscribe button, subscribe to our channel, and then also hit the like button. That really helps us out. And for those of you who are listening to this maybe later on Spotify or Anchor or a variety of podcast services, we really appreciate that. Also, you can also like us and follow us on those platforms. We would appreciate that. It really helps us. It really does. It's a small thing. It's a free podcast. Like just hit the button. That's all you got to do. We'd appreciate the help. So for Jason and for Zach, once again, Zach, thank you for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
This is Justin saying we'll see you next week. When we have, who do we have next week, Jason?
Damn it. Who do we have next week? Oh, we have Derek McClendon next week.
Derek McClendon.
Oh, hell yeah. I was about to be like, surprise, motherfuckers. Zach Welch again.
Part 2.
But yeah, Derek McClendon.
No, we have Derek. Yeah.
So until next week, we will see you later. Thank you. Have a good night.